collection of reactions to Will Nick Sirianni get fired after the Eagles' collapse this season?
They should fire him for solely letting Patricia still call the defense LOL.
Call and defense are generous words LMAO.
The defense needs to relearn on how to tackle again. The game was solely lost to the inability to tackle. If a QB can run 54 yards without a single dude touching him, then something went wrong. If someone takes 5 seconds plus to tackle someone solo and that person gets away despite having 3 other players around him, then something went wrong. If half the dudes are arm tackling, shit's gone south.
If MLB can ban Pete Rose, someone should just ban Matt Patricia from being around any NFL team.
I mean, from that Super Bowl, to the start of the year, to losing to Zach Wilson and Saleh, and the wheels falling off after beating the Chiefs in their Super Bowl, summed it up. I wouldn't be surprised if he was fired.
I think so, TBH. I don't necessarily think it's right so soon after being NFC champ, but I think his seat just hit the smoke point.
Problem is, it looks like he got hard carried by his coordinators from last year. The guys there now are a fucking joke. If he's not fired, I at least expect they purge the entire staff and rebuild it. It's pretty hard to give him credit for the 2022 season after what just happened this season, LOL.
I wouldn't let last year's results dictate this year's results. Clearly somewhere the process wasn't working and being broken. How this team approached everything on offense and defense from the top down, from HC to the team, just was not good. From no hots to a system, to getting out of bad plays and situations, to not putting an offensive scheme that's not reliant solely on big plays, to being just poorly coached at a basic functional NFL level. This team is bad at blocking and tackling, and executing some basic things for the NFL. This team does not have the same attention to detail and process-driven mechanisms of last year, and the drastic and rapid failures come from the coach. Sirianni's gonna have to prove to Lurie that he can correct that, but I'm not sure he'll be convinced, given that we lucked into 10-1, and then went 1-5 to end the year.
They fired Peterson after a down year following 3 playoff seasons and a Super Bowl win. They'd absolutely fire Sirianni for this.
Yes. You can't come back from losing the locker room like that. Just doesn't happen. Not in the same place. He'll get another job eventually, but it's done in Philly. They need to go after someone to try and salvage Hurts and that contract.
He doesn't call the defense. He doesn't call the offense. He just led one of the biggest collapses in NFL history. Really, what good is he? What is the argument for keeping him other than, it's too soon? They showed more passion about Fat Dom being banned from the sidelines than any of the games they played down the stretch.
I'd be stunned if he was fired.
No Eagles fan would be.
To me, it won't be as surprising as Carroll. He missed the playoffs by 1 game in a tough division, but his team was always competing. Sirianni's team collapsed so badly and he couldn't do anything to get them back on the right track. It looks much worse.
3 weeks ago I would have been. Now I wouldn't be surprised at all. The last 7 weeks they've looked like one of the worst teams at such a critical time. Even their 1 win was ugly.
If it was up to Reddit, over 20 coaches would be fired each season.
To me, this is not about how he did as much as how he handled the situations.
Take it from the fan of a team who had a Hall of Fame coach who fucked up. You don't recover from stuff like this.
He's gone. There's tons of coaching talent out there. More than usual.
It will come down to what players/coaches inside the building think. If Roseman/Lurie believe that Sirianni wasn't central to the success in 2022, he's probably gone.
People clowned on David Carr for saying Hurts should be benched when he was less than 100% to give him some time to heal up before the playoffs, but I bet that decision gets discussed this offseason now.
Either he is fired or they replace both coordinators. They have zero answers on both sides of the ball. It seems that every phase of the game regressed. I would fire him.
I feel he probably lost the confidence of his team like 3 or 4 weeks ago and never got it back. The fact that the team has had played and looked like they lost every shred of moral on their body since then suggests that the coach needs to go. Like, who is the leader of that team right now? You can't say it's the HC.
If so, that has to be the fastest fall from grace ever. Just went to the Super Bowl last year and 2-3 through the season he was looking good at 10-1 and then boom, gone at the end of the year is nuts to think about.